Hello, everybody, and welcome to pretty much part two of the Minecraft musings for today. I'm not even going to bother with what day it is. Like, I need to start doing that in my videos, like, not worrying about telling, hey, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I've been doing, and all that. It's so hard not to, though, because like then you start questioning yourself, like, why am I talking about this? Or why is this important? It's like, okay, now I know. I don't know. It's just, but the discussions, oh my gosh, I was starting to watch the first one. In fact, I kind of got distracted watching that, and I keep hearing the villagers going, huh, huh, in the background, which is good because then that lowers their prices when I kind of just go AFK for a little bit there. But, anyways, trying to understand the human condition. That's basically what we're always talking about in these things. How to understand and react to, I guess is an even better way to say it, because even if you understand what's going on, it's still you still got to do something. Like you still got to put in some effort to fix it or whatever. But really, a lot of us just don't even understand what's going on. And there are a number of different ways to say this. Like, you don't know me, oh, Mrs. Pickles or whatever it is. Like, you go watch Rick and Morty. It's hilarious. But unless you're a devout Christian, then I think you might take issue with it, because I do have a buddy that he expressed his concern with it. And mind you, this is one of the friends and family that and yeah, he's pretty much family. He was there when my son was born. Like, he wasn't there, but like me and this other guy, like, I don't know. Anyways, I digress. And actually, a Republican, a Christian, and a Democrat all walk into a bar. And that was us. Like, anyways, and I have a lot of those, and that's important. I mean, you got to have different universes, different perspectives, different experiences in everything. And that's why echo chambers are so dangerous. That's why, like, I was apologizing in part one about, like, oh, this one's going to get really political. Well, I mean, it did for like a second. I said, better watch out, Republicans. And I'm actually saying all politicians, like the current structures in place. And I say that because let's not forget, Biden helped create a law that punished crack cocaine use for 5 years in prison. Now, some of you might be like, oh, yeah, suck it to him and stuff. But, like, think about that. That's 5 birthdays, 5 Christmases, 5 Easters. That's an entire high school career and then a year. You could get held back a year and still have to do this as your high school. Or that's an entire college education. And let's be honest, most degrees are actually becoming more like 5 year, because the bar keeps getting raised. Like, the standards of what constitutes good for a degree, like, especially computer science. Like, you imagine back in the day, it was like, punch holes in card, make this, as far as the engineer. And I say that, and that's not really fair. It's just like, it was still very intricate, and the amount of knowledge you needed was vast, but that was a drop in the bucket for what you need now. I mean, basically everyone needs to be a one-stop shop, an IT department for basically any job, and that's the harsh reality. And keep watching these videos and you can too. But basically, as long as you get like a basic college education, and you can take electives, whatever, it doesn't matter, and then you can narrow down or drill down on specifics. And that's why a lot of people are doing these boot camps. And CSU does boot camps. I did the first cybersecurity CSU boot camp. They also do a web development one, which it was a toss up for me because like they both came out at the same time. And I was about to go back to get my actual computer science degree because I have an applied computing technologies degree, but I wasn't getting the work that I wanted with just that and the experience that I had. So there was my problem. I could have either adjusted the education or adjusted the experience. So actually I did both, because I mean, I was still working. I mean, in doing these things, I was only working in like a warehouse, and I did take unemployment for a while. That really upset some of my friends, like, and it upset me too at the start. And now let's think about this different universe, different perspective. So that could be a DUDP. No, already no, never mind. Cringe. Anyway, so yeah, see, they're all walking around like, I don't like that. Anyways, or maybe no. Okay, we're gonna stop right there. Um, Different universes, different perspectives. So, uh, I was just thinking about this. Unemployment. There you go. Sorry, I had to like retrace my steps. It's like let's go to the tape, and then okay. So unemployment. Yes, I took advantage of the unemployment during the COVID pandemic. I was on unemployment for a little bit, and then I got another job again because I was just like the whole time I'm on unemployment, I'm just like, oh, I need to just get another job. And this isn't the first time I've been on unemployment too. I got laid off from a tech job, and then it's like, oh well, I wasn't expecting that, so boom, okay. And then, then you have to pivot and you have to be dynamic. So, and that's a harsh reality that everybody needs to understand, because you don't want to get blindsided by that and all of a sudden just be like, oh wait, now I thought I had a job. And some people take this really bad too. This could be a life or death situation, because people commit suicide over such things, or go drinking and then crash their car, or go and kill somebody, like all of these things. That's why it's important that you have communication. And that sounds sappy, but especially even after just that little bit of logic that we walked through there, it's very important. It's paramount to, and not the TV. See, I could get so much sponsoring bucks just from accidentally saying stuff, because they all say things like that are really catchy in common English vernacular, but they're also a product now. So, anyways, but at the end of the day, we're all trying to do this stuff so we can enjoy what stuff we have better. And really, ideally, we're trying to get to the point where everybody has everything, because that's the pure way to just be like, all right, now I'm content. And again, this goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like, first you take, and this sounds so cultish too, like so true. I don't know. But basically it says you take care of yourself first, then you take care of others. It's the oxygen mask thing, very simplified. And so when you take from that, okay, well, I'm good. Now I want to go help others. And then you might be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I don't want to help others. Wait a minute. Does that mean I still need help? And that's very true. Now, whether you need the help or it's just perceived, it really depends on, oh, we got close, huh? Yeah, like 5 or 6. And now there's not even a steps. Now we've reached, oh, let's take a look at that. Oh, that is awesome. We're going to keep it going. We're going to make it bigger. In fact, we're going to keep it going. I've thought about that. Technically, you could just tear down 2 sides and just continue them all the way up to build height. And then like right there, when I'm editing these videos, like in the future, I'll just be like all the way up from that song. And then I can show it like the before and after from a clip of this video, looking up here and talking about it. And then like, oh, so future me has an idea of some content that I want to do, and I will do it later. Or someone else will do it and they'll beat me to it. And they'll be like, but you don't got to nanner or compete like that. You could just say, hey, I did it. And then I'll have to try to like one up it, or I don't know. I don't really compete a lot anymore. I used to do a lot of sports, and yeah. Now I don't care as much. Again, because I honestly believe that the human condition is such that we are only concerned about ourselves and others in that order. Oh, hey, here's one of the, no. Wait, who are you? A stonemason. Oh, I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep. Sorry, and actually that does. That looks like a Monty Python lumberjack, because he talks about, those are some pretty short shorts there for a lumberjack. But he talks about putting on women's clothing and going to bars. See, that's the other thing. Is like, if you're exposed to things like Monty Python, and certain religious households won't allow Monty Python, and that's a shame, because it's so much exposure to different universes and different perspectives that it should almost be seen as like a crime, honestly, because you're neglecting that child by not. Okay, sorry, let's not go that far. I mean, there's some pretty raunchy stuff on there. However, if you're neglecting that child to at least be comfortable seeking out extraneous information or outside information, then you're really setting them up for failure, because they're going to have such a closed mind that they will combat a lot of concepts and ideas, and that causes friction all around, causes inefficiencies. Like, it wastes time, effort, money, all these things. Like, it's horrible. Like, don't do it. And when you say it that way, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. No, not me. What are you talking about? But we all do it to a point. We all sell ourselves and others short to a point. Oh, wait. Before we all get into like tons of, let's see, we're at 9 minutes. Oh, 3 o'clock. Here's an easy one. So I got to do an alarm for, it's now 3 o'clock. I'm trying, oh no, not Keanu Reeves. My YouTube interrupting things. So it's almost 10 minutes. We'll just call it an even 10 at 3. So we got 3:20. Boom, boom, done. And it'll tell me, yes, 20 minutes from now with the 9 minutes remainder, we're good. Well, 1 minute remainder, really. And then we're getting down to like 30 seconds. And then the actual diminished returns on the time taken to explain that to you, that was our minute and a half, right? Seems like it. Feels like it. No. Anyways, no, different universes, different perspectives. And talking about, I went and saw the new Spider-Man movie. I took the kids to go see that yesterday. That was So much fun. Awesome. And now anybody like following this, like, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, but my point is, I feel secure in saying stuff like that. One, because I know a lot of cops here in town, so like, it's really not that big of a deal. It is scary. Like some freak accident could happen. Like there's been a lot of them. I'm not trying to downplay that. But even at that point, it's almost like if it gets that far, how much do you really, like at that point you're just like hoping for the best. And that's a grim again, why it's important to try to reduce all these things. And I say specifically like gun laws and stuff. And we could go into a lot of talks about that. And I'm in the opinion of the Democratic opinion of that. I would rather err on the side of caution and then work it out because I trust humanity a little more that we're not going to end up as a Logan's Run or whatever that is, like where the government takes over and like, starts killing people. Like that's putting a lot of faith in some evil genius that doesn't even probably exist. Seriously. Like didn't we learn anything from Scooby-Doo, the actual monster or people? And then from these musings, we're actually realizing that it's not the people, it's situations and environments and universes. It's their perceptions. So it's this combination of perceptions, environments, and universes that leads to criminal behavior. And again, I say this as like a law enforcement enthusiast, a departments of corrections enthusiast, and they might not be the right words. Concernedist. Like, I don't even know what that is. I'm concerned about these things, and cybersecurity because cybersecurity at the end of the day is, oops, oh wait, no. There's multiple ways. So say we got stuck on there again. All I had to do, wait. Oh, I know. Did I? See, now I can't even. All right. So if I did that, there we go. That's what I think I accidentally hit that. So what I should have done is just that. Or if I do that and then that, it switches it. So multiple ways to accomplish the same end. And I just threw an emerald. Anyways, sorry. And that's why even just playing video games. See, that's another thing. If you grew up in a sheltered household that didn't allow video games or couldn't afford video games, then, and still to this day, actually, even as I speak, so my family had a regular Nintendo growing up. We had a Nintendo. We played it a lot. We played it so much that, I don't know, like ugh. We played it a lot, and then that was it. And we had other forms of entertainment, maybe recording. And so the youngsters of today don't understand this. And that's why a lot of times they're more quick to like, and see, there I am being, persecuting the youngsters. No, I'm just pointing out your different universe of, oh, I wake up and I can play a PlayStation, I can play an Xbox, I can play a Switch. Like, I mean, granted, I only have, well, actually, I don't have a whole lot of stuff. I got the PS5. So thinking about people like taking down notes like, ooh, he's got this, he's got that. He's like, well, yeah, but I got a lot of cop friends and a lot of gangster friends. So, I mean, even if the cops don't work, there's other options. So I'm just kidding. I'm not, I'm just kidding. Don't ever do that. And don't ever put someone in that position. Seriously, like, you shouldn't try to convince people to commit crimes for any reason. Like, and that is a sad reality is like, you think about, sorry, when I was driving earlier, I was thinking about all the money I've spent on ex-girlfriends. Not saying I did a bunch of crimes to impress girlfriends, but that's what you kind of do in school to be the class clown or, to get that, for multiple reasons. To get, some people do it to get the attention. And now there's the other thing, like, are they not getting the attention at home? And that's the sad reality is a lot of times the more outrageous the kid, the better chance that one or two of their parents are gone or in prison or addicted to drugs or alcohol. And yes, alcohol is an even more present danger because it's, well, legally available on like every street corner. Not saying we need to ban it. I mean, we all know or we don't know what prohibition did. See, that's the other thing. Like the less you're exposed to, the more likely you are to believe like random nonsense. It's like, okay, so we know prohibition doesn't work. But then again, see, as I say that, Tucker Carlson, I wonder if he grew up in a sheltered household because without video games, maybe Jesus, a lot of that. Oh, okay. So Mike Pence, I commented on his tweet the other day because I'm sorry, Mike Pence, you're ridiculous. Not because you're such a good Christian, but it's because you don't understand what it means to hear stuff like that. Stuff that you say. Like he was tweeting about some group was going to a baseball game or something, and he was like outraged because they're not a Catholic group or they offend Catholics. And I'm like, I'm sorry, wait a minute. Are you trying to dictate who can do what where? Like this is some communist state just because they don't do what you like? That's what it is, right? Is that the thick of it there? Like, that's ridiculous. I don't care. Like, you know, don't go to that game. But was that a game? See, right there, it is infringing on other people's rights. So, okay, I can see some of that concern. Now, tweeting about it and leaving it one side without proposing any solutions is lazy. And that's why I, point that out. Like, at least offer up some solutions. But they're condemning the entire whatever it was, the baseball field, football field. No, I'm pretty sure it was a baseball game or something. I don't even know what I commented on. That's how much I care about it. Because, like, I care more about the persecution. Like, that company, that business, now has to deal with your nonsense just because your imaginary friend said this. And seriously, that's all religion is until it's proven real. I'm sorry. Like, that's as much that it would hold up in court. You can't tell a court that God said to do this. And I mean the Islamic God, the Judean God. There you go, Judean. I think I was trying to think of that the other day. Sorry, it's just, and these are the things that concern me because I don't want to offend people. However, and I'm not trying to offend Mike Pence, even it does sound like that, and I admit it. Okay, my tactic there at communication was not the best. And even now it sounds kind of condescending and rushed. So here's what I mean. And that's part of that. That is verbal communication, but it's really non-verbal. Or well, actually, maybe it's still non-verbal because I think of verbal as like verbs, adjectives, and like language, whereas the tone of voice, the meter of voice, like the speed, the rhythm of a voice, can tell more about it too. And these are things that people in law enforcement study, like and people in corrections study, and people that travel abroad study. So there you go. It's like one of those memes, like it's like a triple Venn diagram. Ugh. Where you got the three circles of intersecting circles, and then at the intersection, like all of them can agree to this. Oh, and again, the internet is so amazing. Like, it's so trash, but it's so amazing at the same time. Like, there is so much garbage on there, and you get what you put in. I mean, you give everyone access with their different universes, different perspectives, different levels of education, different levels of work experience. Because, mind you, work experience can replace some education. Like, you're still learning when you're living. I mean, but at the same time, are you really like learning though? Or are you just doing the same thing over and over? And that's why, like, it's hard to imagine not being able to go to college, having done it. And I understand so many people don't because they can't. And that's why we gotta fix that. We gotta fix it. And here's how we do that. So first off, we ban money from campaigning. That's the easiest step. And once you ban money from campaigning, you remove the friction and the BS basically of politics. Now, how do you do that, you say? Well, okay, so here's the important thing. You can't just remove it overnight. You need to put in a system that over time we are going to move to this new system, and you have this much time to prepare. Because we're already switching things to like Twitter. Politicians can advertise on Twitter what their stance is, and you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth what they feel about certain issues and key topics. So there's a good way. Like, okay, so already Twitter is a huge improvement in communication. And again, and I commented like, oh, there's a lot of billionaires not really doing anything with their money on one of Elon's posts. And then I was like, wait a minute, I want to clarify that. I'm not saying this about Elon. He could be doing better. He could be doing worse. And he could be saying the same. Like, those are really the three, driest ways of presenting like, okay, here's the three possible outcomes of what he's going to do. He's either going to change for the better, change for the worse, or stay the same. And then even then you can blur the lines and say more or less. If you throw a more or less in there, then that allows for a little room of error to where it's like, okay, well, he did a lot of good. Oh, but then he did something really horrible. Like, okay, I'd say he really didn't change, middle of the road. And that's not saying like he like committed a crime. And then it's like, okay, wait, hold up. Now, don't be doing this now. Like, let's reel it back in a little bit. And that's the thing. I mean, you can say all day that like, oh, alcohol makes you make poor decisions, including crime and including other drugs. And oh, now you're addicted to other drugs. And like, I still say like, if you ask anybody who has had any issues with drugs or alcohol, or sorry, anybody who's had issues with drugs, they will tell you, oh yeah, it started with alcohol. Nobody just started doing drugs. Like, it was always alcohol first. And that is the definition of a gateway drug. Now, wait, alcohol is not a drug. Oh, but it is. It is. It's a mind-altering substance made from rotting food. Like, This is stuff we're not supposed to put in our bodies from everything that we're like really kind of understanding. Like, oh, food rots and then it can make you sick. It can make you die. And then even as I say that, I remember a Homer Simpson or a Simpsons episode, sorry, where they're talking about sushi and this one puffer fish. It's deadly everywhere except for this one spot. And they have some amateur prepare it. So he's basically playing Russian roulette, which is a game where you gamble with your life. Okay, sorry. So he's gambling with his life, eating this piece of fish, like this piece of food. And for what? I don't know. I can't even remember the premise, like the plot to it. Like he was doing it. I don't remember why. And I don't think it really matters because my point being is like, I don't know, relevance. There you go. And even saying the word relevance to some people is like, you know, you smarty smarter. Like, same how I do with Richie Richards. Like, I'm just kidding. But without the proper context, and if it's too much throughput, like if you're trying to make a fire hose out of a situation where the person was only equipped to handle a squirt gun, like then you're gonna have a bad time. There you go, back to South Park. There's that episode of it where they go to Aspen and they're learning how to ski, and it really is like that. Your ski instructors, because I had a lot of I dated a ski instructor. She was so fun. Anyways, I digress. But no, so I kind of know how they act, but I also had a snowboard instructor in my last, or in that cyber class. But anyways, from my mountain, nonetheless, that was pretty cool. But no, they really say that. Like maybe not exactly that, but if you French fry when you're supposed to pizza, you're gonna have a bad time. Like they might say things like you're gonna fall, you're gonna get hurt. It's all bad. Like and just make a generalization and then say it like multiple times. That's just kind of a form of show of razzle dazzle, we'll say. So when you're giving a presentation or speaking publicly, you need to throw in a little razzle dazzle, but not too much because there's a limit or there's a point of diminished returns. Like after a time, it's not that funny or it's not that clever or it's not that good. I mean, that's just kind of interesting. It's almost like gravity when you bounce a ball, and I've written a computer program to handle this, like doing code. Oh, we should do some more code wars today. But yeah, no, where you drop a ball, it bounces, and then the first bounce is the highest because that's the most force and energy, and then the second bounce, little shorter, but still pretty high, and then it continues to go down unless there's another force applied to it. So unless you come down and you smack that ball and you hit it in the exact same direction down at the ground, and then it flies straight up, which is hard to do, but I mean, there's ways to kind of get that close. Then you're applying more force, you're giving it more energy, and then it's going to keep bouncing, and then it's not as predictable. Then it could be way high, could be really low, depends on how hard you hit it, and you could have even pretended to hit it really hard. And so right there, you're perceptive and your perception of like, okay, so wait, what did I see versus what actually happened? Oh, there's that thing like what is it, the 12 Angry Men, which is like it took one person to overturn. Actually, let's go ahead and move a bunch of this over there. We're kind of getting saturated with them. But yeah, it was just one juror that had to just say, I don't think he's guilty. I don't think he killed this person. And then it ended up being like he didn't. And everybody else was like, oh, we almost just like sent a man to prison for life because we were wrong. And that's the thing. And that happens more than you know because all it takes is a jury of people, supposedly your peers, you don't know. I mean, and that's why, because they need to be in the same universe as you with the same perspectives to make a fair ruling or a fair assessment of you, whether they actually believe you did it or not. That's also why politics doesn't really work as is, because what we have is two main universes, unfortunately, because there's actually like 10 subdomains or 10 sub-universes within each political party. And again, I'm only talking Democrat, Republican, because let's be honest, Libertarian's not going to get anything anytime soon unless we make some changes. And I know some, people that are very smart that are libertarian, like, and they're very frustrated, and they actually still have a little bit one way or the other. I've noticed. It's like you can't really nail it down, nor should you. It should remain fluid and dynamic, as our government really should become. And again, that goes back to ban money in campaigning. I'll say it again. I'll say it a million times, because that's how you keep politicians from being crappy. Seriously, like they're gonna try to sell you a lie, sell you a story, play on your emotions. Okay, Llama, we gotta. Sorry, now you were cute, but now you're getting annoying. I know. I'm gonna build a roller coaster for you one day, and then you'll go do that, and you'll be out of my way. But until then, and I'm gonna Dr. Seuss this, I left on the oven, and whose business is this? I don't know. I was trying to rhyme there or something, but oh yeah, and I used to sit around with buddies back in college, like when we were hanging out and doing freestyle rhyming and everything, and really just taking the time to just try to. Okay, now it's just getting ridiculous. Taking how much time do we have? I'm about done. That was so cringe. No, but what I'm saying is like all of these different experiences are what led to me thinking and doing the things that I do and think today. And that's really what everyone is. The problem is you might be too distracted by other things to really remember something. It's kind of like that one movie, Inside Out, I think it is, where the emotions have emotions, and there's a core memory. And, for something to really stick, there has to be a reason for it to stick, or at least enough other things to remember at the same time. Like, say you got smacked when you were a kid. You're going to remember that because it hurt. It triggered your fight or flight response. I mean, it was traumatic. Like, and that's why scarring memories are so important. And so that we minimize and, eliminate all those and like child abuse and stuff like oof, okay, well, whatever, sorry. I digress, but like straight up hitting somebody, that's never okay. And and I used to hit people for fun in football. I was a lineman, and that was my job. Actually, it was for fun, it was my job. Like, this is what I did, and I got a lot of praise and reward for it. I mean, a lot. Like, and that's unfair, and that is the thing. And that's really like the bittersweet tragedy of a lot of stories is because, the underdog has to be an underdog, not through any real fault of their own. Maybe they were just a little too timid to make the investment of time and effort into being a football player. And now we're even finding out it's changing. Like, as long as you're just involved in sports, some sport, and that could even be like math club or chess club, or like as long as you're in some activity that groups you with other people and you can work together towards a common goal. Well, by that definition, Dungeons and Dragons, D&D, like that's why a lot of people gravitate towards that, and especially D&D. And D. And I still, so I don't have the, well, let's see, how do I put that? I would get into it, but I don't have the ability to invest that much time and effort currently. And I just know that as a single parent that's, finally in a stable job again, like, sure, knock on wood, I don't want to, and that's the thing. It's like I say the wrong thing about the wrong politics or the wrong structure to the wrong person. And that's why I'm very protective about like who I tell about this YouTube, because it's like, oh yeah, I teach computer science, but I also teach revolution. Like, no, I'm just kidding. No, but that is the sad reality of it is these ideas could be potentially dangerous if misused. And that also pertains to cybersecurity because, oh wait, I was down there, right? Yeah. Okay. And then that's why I walked out there. Oh, oops, I fell down again. Anyways, no biggie. Dust yourself off and just and try again. Like it's that whole 90s song. No, what I'm saying is like if the wrong person experiences what I'm saying in these things, then that's too much throughput or too much at one time, and it's friction. It's unpleasant and it's potentially dangerous. And so that's the thing. Like I mean, I've said it before. Like you got to use kid gloves with like, and that's even a bad thing to say because you got to use kid gloves with kids. Yes, see, the pumpkin agrees. Actually, I haven't fixed them, so it's gonna keep happening. So that's gonna be false positives from now on. Because usually I try to fix that. I think it's a glitch, like when it gets trampled or whatever, or when it's loading in, like it might just like randomly throw something there. Oh, see, and now my alarm, the synchronization of my alarm is almost like my phone is telling me to wrap it up. Oh wait, it is, but not for the reason that kind of makes it seem. It's just telling me to wrap it up because I asked it to. Anyways. Oh, and this one was closer, so we got 1 minute to wrap it up. All right, so that's actually good for now. I really need to go do a couple of things. But yeah, some of those things, going to do a little cleaning, going to try to make those Jamboards publicly available. Then yes, for those people that are actually watching these things, like as they come out, I will do some of that today and put some of those links in the descriptions and maybe try to clean up the titles a little bit. I might try to revert it back to all timestamps and then just organize them into the seasons. But anyways, that's it for me. And this might be the part 3 of season 3 or part 2, whatever. It'll be in the right playlist. Have a good day, everybody. Be kind. See you later.